My name is Stephen Bowes, and I'm an associate professor of humanities here at King's College. I will be teaching a class on the thought of Michel Foucault. Foucault is a theorist of social practices, and his methodology combines history, psychology, philosophy, and political theory. What Foucault says about his work is that he is interested in histories of the present. What we'll be doing is tracing some of his major works in chronological order, historical order, beginning with the history of madness. In the period of the Renaissance, Foucault notes that the mad were free, and they may have lived on the margins of society, but they were free to roam, and they traveled from city to city. They were largely regarded as creative, free spirits. Madness comes to be regarded as the opposite of reason. So you have this dichotomy between reason and non-reason, and madness then is associated now with animality and the irrational. In the modern period, what we see is the birth of the modern psychiatric asylum and the emergence of psychiatry. Foucault is particularly interested in undermining grand narratives. It's a common belief, or was a common belief, that the treatment of the mad in the modern period is more humane, for example, than the treatment of the mad in, let's say, the classical age or even in the Renaissance. What Foucault endeavors to do is to undermine that kind of narrative of the history of madness and push for change. Foucault's early period is sometimes characterized as archaeological, for example, interested in the rise of the human sciences, in the 19th century, the birth of the clinic, the birth of the psychiatric asylum. Their approach is more structural. In Discipline and Punish, which belongs to this second phase or period of Foucault's thought, there's an emphasis on power, a way in which power advances itself, results, you might say, in a different kind of confinement. Foucault is, on the one hand, philosophical, so there's a lot of conceptual stuff, and you kind of have to come to terms with a new kind of language, a new methodology. But on the other hand, there's a strong sort of empirical content to it. So he's not just, speaking freely. His own concepts and conceptual framing are rooted in a close empirical study of various social practices throughout the history of modernity. And I think I appreciate that, like the fact that, this is philosophy that is still tethered to actual concrete situations. I think it lends great weight and provides insight into many of our current practices.